The neon signs of New Jakarta's lower district flickered against the perpetual smog, casting everything in shades of electric blue and toxic orange. Leon wiped his grease-stained hands on his coveralls and surveyed his workshop, if the cramped garage bay could even be called that. 3 walls, a leaking roof, and equipment held together with solder and hope. But it was his, and in a galaxy where humans were still considered the new kids on the block, that meant something. The rumble of an engine cut through the ambient noise of the street. Leon looked up, squinting through the haze. What rolled into his bay made his heart skip. It was a Veridian Phantom, a motorcycle that shouldn't exist outside of collector vaults and museum displays. The anti-grav stabilizers hummed with a frequency that resonated in his chest, and the fusion core's distinctive blue glow marked it as pre-collapse tech, easily worth more than his entire block. The rider dismounted with fluid grace. She was tall, with the characteristic silver-streaked skin of the Chiralian species and eyes that shifted through the visible spectrum. She wore traveling leathers that probably cost more than Leon would make in a year, yet they were scuffed and worn from actual use. "You fix machines." Her voice carried a melodic accent, each word precisely chosen. Standard galactic with an upper-tier inflection that marked her as educated, probably wealthy. "I do," Leon said, trying not to stare at the Phantom. "What's the problem?" "The quantum resonator is dissensing from the primary drive manifold. I've been losing power for the last 3 jumps." She pulled off her gloves, revealing hands marked with faint scars, the kind that came from actual work, not just owning expensive things. "Can you fix it?" Leon's mind raced. A quantum resonator desync could mean a dozen different issues, most of which required proprietary tools he didn't have. But he'd spent 10 years reverse engineering alien tech that the galaxy said humans were too primitive to understand. He'd learned to improvise. "I can try," he said honestly, "but I don't have OEM parts for something like this. I'll have to fabricate solutions." The woman, Leon caught the name Lisa embroidered on her jacket collar, studied him with those shifting eyes. For a moment, he thought she'd leave, take her impossible motorcycle to a proper shop in the upper district where they actually had quantum calibrators. "How much?" she asked instead. Leon did quick calculations. Materials, time, the sheer risk of working on something this valuable. 200 credits, 3 if I have to machine custom parts. Lisa's expression didn't change, but something flickered in her eyes. Amusement, maybe. "That seems reasonable. Proceed." She settled onto a cargo crate while Leon got to work, and that's when things got interesting. Most high-tier aliens who wandered into the lower districts treated humans like clever children, useful sometimes, mostly an oddity. Lisa watched him work with the attention of someone who actually understood what he was doing. "You're using a harmonic feedback loop to diagnose the resonator," she observed, as Leon connected his jury-rigged diagnostic tool to the Phantom's core housing. "Clever. Most mechanics would try a direct quantum probe." "Don't have a quantum probe," Leon admitted, watching the oscilloscope patterns. "Besides, direct probing can destabilize the very thing you're trying to measure. Harmonic feedback is gentler if you know what you're looking for." "And you do." Leon grinned. "I learned to read quantum signatures by fixing galactic Navy surplus. They dump their used fighters on human worlds because it's cheaper than proper disposal. Turns out when you can't afford the manual, you get creative." He found the problem within an hour, a microfracture in the resonator's crystalline matrix, probably from repeated jump stress. The fracture was causing phase delays that threw off the synchronization. The fix would require growing a quantum patch, essentially filling the crack with programmable matter that could match the crystal's resonance properties. "I don't suppose you have programmable matter?" Lisa asked, reading his expression. "I have something better." Leon pulled out a battered case. "Terran Smart Gel. It's what we use to patch hull breaches on colony ships. Not as elegant as proper programmable matter, but it's adaptive. I can seed it with quantum properties using your resonator's own field as a template. He spent the next 3 hours in focused silence, carefully applying the smart gel, using his improvised harmonic generator to imprint the correct quantum signature, then slowly coaxing the patch to integrate with the existing crystal matrix. It was delicate work, the kind that required intuition as much as knowledge. Lisa watched the entire time, asking occasional questions that revealed a deep understanding of quantum mechanics. She wasn't just rich, Leon realized. She was educated at a level that most aliens never reached. "Where did you learn this?" she asked as he ran the final diagnostics. "University of New Jakarta," Leon said, not looking up from his readouts. "Got a degree in xenotechnology before the funding dried up. Turns out when you're human, a degree doesn't mean much. No one wants to hire the species that still uses chemical rockets for local transport." That seems short-sighted. It is what it is. The diagnostic showed green across all parameters the patch had taken. The resonator was syncing perfectly with the drive manifold. Leon allowed himself a small smile. "You're good to go. Should hold for at least 50 jumps, maybe more." Lisa stood, examining the motorcycle with a practiced eye. She ran her hand over the repair and Leon saw approval in her expression. "Remarkable. I've had Chiralian master technicians work on this machine. Your repair is cleaner than theirs." "Thanks," Leon wiped his hands again. "That'll be 200 credits." Lisa reached into her jacket and pulled out a credit chip, but instead of tapping it against his reader, she held it for a moment. "Tell me, Leon, do you enjoy this, working in this garage, scraping by on repairs?" The question caught him off guard. "It's honest work, and I'm good at it." "But do you enjoy it?" Leon thought about the university, about the research he'd wanted to do, about the dreams of pushing human technology to match the galaxy's best. "No," he admitted. "I enjoy solving problems. I enjoy figuring out how things work and making them better. This," he gestured at his cramped garage, "this is just survival." Lisa nodded slowly, as if he'd confirmed something. She tapped the credit chip against his reader. Leon glanced at the display and nearly dropped it. 20,000 credits. That's too much. The repair was only. "Consider it payment for an education," Lisa said. She swung onto the Phantom, the fusion core humming to life with perfect harmony. "I am Lisa Chiralith Venn. I own the Chiralith sector, which comprises approximately 240 star systems. I've been traveling incognito for 3 years, trying to understand why human colonies in my sector consistently outperform other species in innovation despite having a fraction of the resources." Leon's mouth went dry. "I think I have my answer," Lisa continued. "Your people don't just learn, you improvise, adapt, make do with what you have. You look at problems sideways and find solutions no one else considered." She smiled, a gesture that crossed species boundaries. "That credit chip also contains a contract offer. I need a chief of technological development for the Chiralith sector. The position comes with a full research facility, unlimited budget, and access to every piece of technology in my holdings." "Why me?" Leon managed to ask. "'Cause you're the first mechanic in 3 years to actually fix my motorcycle," Lisa said simply. "Everyone else either told me I needed OEM parts they could order for 10 times what you charged, or they refused the job entirely. You looked at an impossible problem and solved it with smart gel and ingenuity." She revved the engine, the sound pure and clean. "The galaxy underestimates humanity. I'd rather hire people the galaxy underestimates. They're more motivated to prove everyone wrong." She reached into her jacket one more time and pulled out a small device. "This is a personal comm link. Think about the offer. If you're interested, contact me within the week. If not, keep the 20,000 credits as payment for showing me that human engineering isn't just adequate, it's exceptional." The Phantom lifted on its anti-grav stabilizers, and Lisa guided it out of the garage bay. She paused at the threshold, looking back. "By the way, that harmonic feedback technique, I'm going to recommend it to all my sector mechanics. It's brilliant." Then she was gone, disappearing into New Jakarta's neon haze with a sound like distant thunder. Leon stood in his empty garage, holding the credit chip and the comm device, staring at the space where a woman who owned a galaxy had just thanked him for a 200-credit repair job. He looked around at his cramped workshop, his improvised tools, his patchwork equipment. Then he looked at the comm device. The galaxy thought humans were too primitive, too new, too unrefined. But Lisa had seen what Leon knew in his bones, that humanity's greatest strength wasn't matching alien technology. It was making do with less and somehow coming up with more. He smiled, a real smile this time, and tucked the comm device into his pocket. He'd give her a call. After all, the galaxy needed to learn what humans had always known. The best solutions don't come from having everything. They come from having to make do with anything.